Well, I should ask you about some of the symbolism we see in the trailer, and maybe how it relates to the game. We see references to Greek mythology, the Renaissance, Rembrandt. Tell us what you can about how all these things meld together in the trailer and how they reflect things in the game as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It all stems from when we first started working on the game about 3 years ago now, and the first summer was really just kind of replaying the game and trying to figure out where we're going in terms of gameplay and visuals and whatnot. And then quite early, it became obvious that we wanted to really kind of focus as a main theme with transhumanism and post-humanism and all that stuff, and where like cybernetics was going in the next like 20, 30 years. But then while I was like researching that, I started seeing all the stuff from Leonardo da Vinci and all those sketches and the anatomical studies and everything. I kind of saw like a very strong link between the Renaissance and the cyberpunk era. It kind of became obvious that if the Renaissance was the first time, especially in Europe, we kind of honestly started analyzing the human body and dissecting it and seeing how it works and really kind of placing humans back into nature and less into the spiritual and everything, and where does it fit within all that. It was about learning how the system functions and with the human body, and in a transhumanist or a cyberpunk era, it's about kind of augmenting the system, kind of modifying the system. So first you need to understand it before you can boost it up, right? So it's almost as if the Renaissance was like the first step, like the stepping stone to a transhumanist era. And there's a whole bunch of other factors, just the visuals between cyberpunk and Renaissance. There's a lot of like things that kind of relate. So we got very excited about this, and we said, all right, great, let's try to give it our own spin. Let's try to give it our own voice by figuring out a way of infusing elements of the Renaissance into the cyberpunk visual pillars. At the beginning, we didn't know exactly what it meant. We just really believed in it, and then we said, let's try to do all the work that needs to be done to figure it out. So we started like reading and buying a whole bunch of books about that. And then the Icarus myth. At one point, we realized also that it could be cool if we find some kind of fable or some kind of myth, that relates to the themes we wanted to play with and the story we wanted to tell, and kind of use it as a back support. Again, all in the goal of giving it flavor and giving it its own voice and everything, and making something special. And then when we read the myth of Icarus, it seemed to make so much sense, right? Like when they get out of the maze and they're like on that cliff and there's nowhere to go and there's the Minotaur and everything. Well, Daedalus' dad, just kind of builds the wings, for Icarus and himself, and which is basically an augmentation, right? Like we can't fly, so he builds that, and now they're able to fly. So the feathers are kind of attached together with wax, and he says, let's get the hell out of here. And then he goes, don't fly too close to the sun, right? Because the wax will melt. And Icarus starts having so much fun, right? He's flying, and he gets up in the air, and he gets too close to the sun, and the wax melts, and he just plummets to his death. And I'm like, this is it. This is such a great metaphor. It's like if you augment yourself, it's like all the dangers of getting too much into transhumanism stuff and modifying your body. It's like anything, if you over exaggerate, it's like a plastic surgery today, or just anything, it's like all the freakish stuff that can happen. And it's great because in all the books that we read, because we also bought a lot of books on transhumanism, like a lot of Ray Kurzweil stuff and all those guys, and we read all that. We did our homeworks, and all those books, they talk about the dangers also. Like even though most of those guys are promoting those technologies that are already here and the ones that are coming, they're still saying there's dangers related to that, right? Depending with what we do, and especially with singularity, what could happen. So I really thought that within that context, the myth of Icarus was just perfect. And then it ended up kind of working visually and working in the story. But it's really like I saw a post last night on the teaser, and someone was like, "What the hell, wings? Like this guy's gonna fly?" And it's like, it's not, it's a motif, it's a metaphor. It's not actually you can't take it literally.
But he will have cybernetic implants. We saw sort of a hint at ocular implants. He's got the arms. What can you tell us about our character, main character, in terms of his abilities?
Yeah. Well, what I can tell you is that it's Deus Ex, so it's an RPG, right? It's a first-person shooter RPG. So there's a lot of augmentations. We have dozens and dozens of stuff you can upgrade yourself with, and then those upgrades then can be upgraded themselves. There's all sorts of things. Obviously, things related to strength, and things related to jumping higher, and things related to having different types of vision. All sorts of defensive and offensive things also that go beyond just like just you know, punching someone in the face or whatever. There's all sorts of like cool defensive system, which I won't get into all the details right now. But a lot of those augmentations, you see them, you know, kind of appearing in Adam when you buy them, when you upgrade them, and when he does his attacks and everything, you see them getting into action. The arms opening with whatever comes out from what you bought. You can break stuff. You can throw stuff. You can crush stuff. You can see through stuff. You can see more stuff on your radar, and just, you know, a lot of stuff is stuff that is almost like mandatory, right, for that kind of game. And there's like a whole layer where it's really our stuff, you know. So yeah,
absolutely. All right, well, I know there's a lot to learn about Deus Ex Human Revolution, but you may not have an answer to this, but I have to ask, can you tell us when the game is coming out?
I can tell you when the game's going to come out. What I can tell you is that it's going awesome. It's moving along really well. It's a huge endeavor. It wasn't easy. I mean, we all knew it. Just the fact that it was Deus Ex and everything. It's doing super well. The machine is churning. It's getting there, man. It's getting there. There's still some work to be done.
Machine is churning. That's good to hear. Hey, Deus Ex Human Revolution is coming soon, and Jonathan, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, man. Awesome.